Hey, welcome back to the Big Ranch Show. Thank you for joining me. Now, if you're in the market for a Christmas tree, a real Christmas tree, as opposed to the ones that come in the boxes, which is generally the trees I end up with. But if you're looking for a real tree, you may be out of luck this year. Why? Well, if you remember back in the summer, there was a massive heat wave in the Northwest, especially hitting Oregon, as they called it a heat dome, where the heat just didn't dissipate for weeks and weeks. And apparently, this has led to not only a shortage, but an increase in prices of real Christmas trees. You have Christmas tree farms that have lost somewhere between, some of them, 40%, and some have even lost entire fields at 100% loss that has taken place because of the extreme heat. Now, the problem is, this isn't something new necessarily for the Northwest, but the extent and the length of it was a lot worse than usual, especially hitting at a terrible time as they were planting their trees, a lot of them waiting for their seedlings to take off. But unfortunately, they literally basically cooked to death in the middle of these fields. And so now we're seeing upwards of 30% increases in prices, as well as just not enough stock to go around. My suggestion would be not to rely on real Christmas trees and get yourself a nice tree that you can pay a one-time fee over at, say, Walmart or whatnot, Lowe's, maybe. And that way you just put it up every year and you don't have to worry about cutting down a tree every year. But the problem is these people are going to lose a lot of money this year. And there's no one there to bail them out, to help them, keep their businesses afloat at this point. It's been a rough year, especially in the Northwest, between a lot of the riots that took place over the earlier part of the year, then the heat that cost people's lives, caused fires. But now you're starting to see some of the effects. Oregon, for example, grows roughly 40% of the nation's Christmas trees. And then you got other places around the country that can pick up some of the slack, but when you lose the majority of your biggest growing state, you're going to have problems. And people are going to sit there and try and blame one person or another. And really, everyone's to blame. Because a large reason for what's been taking place, environmentally across this country, has to do with climate change. Because it's not just happening here. It's happening across the globe. Places that aren't usually that hot and aren't usually that dry are becoming extremely hot and extremely dry. Places that are usually dry and hot are either cooling off or seeing a lot more rain. In cold places that are supposed to be cold aren't as cold as they should be. It's a bunch of stuff that's going on with climate change, and no one wants to listen to it. And yes, we have people trying to do stuff. But when the major governments of the world, especially the government of the United States, doesn't want to sign on, doesn't want to actually help in the fight, we kind of lose traction. So we really, if we want things like Christmas trees, if we want people to be safe, shouldn't we try to at least alleviate some of what we're doing to the environment? Now, some people may see this as just being alarmist or crazy, but the facts are there. There are a lot of people that love to buy fresh cut Christmas trees. And a lot of them are going to be out. They're either going to have to go buy a plastic tree, which there again, if the plastic tree breaks, then you've got your issues. But I know a lot of parents buy them for their kids. And now a lot of families just aren't going to be able to afford them. They're already expensive as it was. So a lot of people, though, try to make a political spin on it. It's not political. It's climate. And to me, and the climate change debate shouldn't be political. We all live in the same world. We all have to deal with the same stuff. So, my suggestion is to at least do your part, I guess, the best you can. You know, there are a lot of things that people they think are going to help, and they're not going to touch much of what's going on. Paper straws, for example, aren't really going to help. They're not going to really help us alleviate our climate crisis. They let people think they're doing something when it's really not doing anything. But the problem is the people that need to do something aren't. Like we, as the average Joe, we can go around and do what we want to try and alleviate what we do. Lessen our footprint on the environment. We can do that. But we're not the ones causing the problems. It's the big companies, the big industries that are polluting from China to India to here in the U.S. The big polluters are not having to pay their fair share for the environment that they're destroying. We have these plants just billowing pollutants into the air, many of them cancer-causing agents, and we wonder why people get cancer so often now. I saw a story the other day where a cancer-causing agent was found in a place in Louisiana, in a place where the government says it's fine, right next to a neighborhood. Kids are coming down sick, older people are getting cancers and dying. So the environment is screwed up, and you and I are not causing the problem. There's not a lot you or I can do to really limit what's happening. What we have to do is put pressure on the people in power to make sure that they do the right thing. But like I said, the issue here is that right now Christmas trees are in short supply and have a 30% markup over just a year ago. All because of the environment and the catastrophic heat that the Northwest saw over the summer. Anyways, have a great day. I'll see you down the road.